wildmon.ar.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. A shooting at a Dallas ICE facility this morning leaves several people dead and others hurt.
The Department of Homeland Security confirms to Fox News that 3 ICE detainees are shot. At an ICE facility in Dallas, 2 fatalities, no ICE agents hurt. That the suspect, an apparent sniper on a roof with a rifle, is dead from a self-inflicted wound.
We know that a lot of this comes from the different motivations that we're seeing online over the last few weeks as rhetoric increased.
ICE Deputy Director Madison Sheehan on Fox and Friends, the area surrounding the Dallas ICE facility, now surrounded by first responders as the situation develops. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
It took a jury 2 hours to convict Ryan Ruth on 5 counts in the assassination attempt on President Trump last year. Fox News legal editor Greg Jarrett says it was a slam dunk for the prosecution.
Well, the old saying, if you represent yourself, you have a fool for a client.
Right.
It was a fast verdict because the incriminating evidence of guilt was obvious, overwhelming. He stalked Trump, staked out the sniper's nest, lying in wait, armed with a rifle, 19 rounds. All of that supports the convictions. And his defense was lame and anemic, probably because he chose to represent himself.
Kamala Harris held secret White House meetings with, quote, rising stars of the Democratic Party to help boost their careers. One of her hand-picked protégés was Representative Jasmine Crockett, the Texas Democrat who mocked Texas Governor Greg Abbott's disability, attacked Florida Representative Byron Donalds' interracial marriage, and smeared Charlie Kirk on the day of his memorial service. Harris says she wanted to, quote, brainstorm about the younger talents in the party. Well, here's some examples of that so-called talent.
For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. Honey,
it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head, hard.
the number of, Republicans that have been like, oh no, the border crisis, it's all the fentanyl and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, whatever. The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. We done picking cotton.
I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things, but this wannabe Hitler for sure.
An Oklahoma senator is praising President Trump for deciding enough is enough when it comes to Antifa. Chad Groening has more.
President Trump has signed an executive order designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. The order said that Antifa is a militarist, anarchist enterprise that explicitly calls for the overthrow of the United States government, law enforcement authorities, and our system of law. And the order said it uses illegal means to organize and execute a campaign of violence and terrorism nationwide to accomplish these goals. Democrats pushed back, including Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson, who claimed they have no official organization. Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin was a guest on the Fox News channel. He says Antifa shows up everywhere.
How are they not organized when they claim to be Antifa? Somebody's organizing it. Somebody is sending out the information. Somebody is funding it. Somebody's providing them gear because they're dressed a lot of the same. They seem to show up and they do the same thing. So for Thompson to say that, he's flat wrong. He's ignoring the facts.
So Mullin says the president has decided enough is enough.
And by looking at Antifa and designating them as a domestic terrorist organization, we'll be able to track the money of who's funding this organization. And we'll find the organization chart that Thompson says doesn't exist. He'll have to retract those words before long.
I'm Chad Groening.
U.S. stocks are drifting today as Wall Street takes a pause for what seemed like a relentless rally. The S&P 500 edged up 0.1%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 152 points, and the NASDAQ Composite is 0.1% higher. All three are near their all-time highs, which were set on Monday. More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Some Christians wonder if boycotting businesses is really biblical, and that's a fair question. Ed Vitagliano and M.D. Perkins address that subject in depth in the AFA Cultural Institute video, Stewardship in Action, The Power of the Boycott. They share the purpose of boycotts and show how they can impact the culture. We're giving that DVD to you free as our thanks for supporting AFA this month. Go to afa.net today for more details. afa.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR on this Wednesday, September the 24th, 2025. We hope that you are having a good day. Tim Wildman here with Ed Vitagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
Back from a couple days off.
Couple days.
You seeing good now?
I had cataract surgery on the right eye. Next Monday is the left eye, so I'll be out a couple days next week. This is strange, being able to get up in the middle of the night and be able to see. Don't have to fumble around for glasses or anything like that.
So out of your right eye, it made a vast improvement already, huh?
Yes, it really has. It is a little. Okay, Brent Creeley's holding up fingers. I can count. So my left eye, I still have my contact in, and so it is a little strange kind of getting those two to function properly.
Yeah.
And but
awesome. Well, we're glad. So to get the next dueling cataracts,
Yes.
That happens when you get older,
It is. When I told my sisters they want to know how everything goes, so I texted them and then used the old man emoji.
Yeah.
There's this little old man emoji
with the gray hair.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Dueling cataracts. Kind of like dueling banjos,
yes,
in a way.
That's
kind of like dueling banjos of the eyes.
Eye sockets.
Yeah. All right, Wesley Wildman. Good morning, Wesley.
Good morning.
Wesley's our resident MAGA nut.
Yes.
Here in the program.
And by the way, our audience can be thankful that we do show prep. So whatever, I've got it out of my system.
Yeah.
So it is out.
We'll see. We'll see if it's out of your system.
Fred Jackson.
Yes. Good to be with you guys.
Doing, Brother Fred?
I'm doing well. My daughter used to work at an eye clinic.
Oh, really?
And some folks would come in with similar, getting older and that sort of thing. Yeah, and they would say, I want my Cadillac surgery.
Cadillac. That was for the doc. That's the way the doctors looked at it.
Yeah.
Because they're Cadillac surgery. I almost, my wife had to go with me because they did have to give me, put me under.
Yeah.
And a little anesthesia, so you can't drive.
Right.
Drive for 24 hours. So my wife was with me, and we were having a good time, joking around. We were in the waiting area. And I told her, I said, Diane, it's nothing but old people in this waiting area. I wanted to, when they finally came and took me back there, all the people working in the back, they're all young. The doctor who worked on my eye, Dr. Miles, she's very nice. But all of these, the anesthesiologist, all the one who put my, all of them young.
They're half your age.
Maybe less than that. Yes. I wanted to ask him. I wanted to say, do you ever get tired of seeing one old face come through here, one after another? Because that's what you're working on. I told my wife that. She said, no, do not say that.
Right.
But
pays the bills.
Pays the bills.
I like to insert something right here.
You insert it.
I'm going to insert it. We don't often thank our listening audience enough, so I want to take a moment just to say I appreciate everyone tuning in, listening. Over the last couple of weeks and traveling, I'm reminded of how much our listeners are appreciated of AFR and AFA, and we've got some really, really, really faithful listeners and supporters. So I just want to say thanks to all those that are tuning in right now, and then when Dad gets started, if you want to tune out, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's hurtful.
Hey, listen, you started this.
I did?
Yes.
So
the MAGA was fine. You called me the MAGA nut.
I did.
And then the nut was
I
the
did
part.
call you a MAGA nut. That was gratuitous.
No,
you know what that means?
I can handle it.
Can you spell it?
It's all good. Yeah, it starts with a G.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Anyway, moving right along.
Yeah, sure.
Fred Jackson, what's on a more somber note?
Yes, breaking news out of Dallas, Texas this morning. Investigation continuing at this hour at a Dallas immigration office, I'm told near the Love Field airport there in Dallas. 3 people shot this morning at the immigration office there. Now, we're still getting details on this. What we do know of the 3 people, Fox News at least is confirming at this hour, these were detainees that were being brought into the building there, the ICE building. One of those detainees was shot and killed. 2 others are being treated at a hospital right now. The shooter shot himself and killed himself. Now, you guys are able to look over to
the news. We have a news TV feed in our audience.
And you're probably seeing a group of microphones. There's supposed to be an update to this fairly shortly on this. But this is what we know. You can go to afn.net. afn.net is our breaking news right now on this. But early on, they weren't sure whether it was some of the ICE officers, perhaps, or visitors to this center. But Fox News, at least, is reporting that the people wounded, and sadly, one of those 3 were all detainees being transferred there. And obviously, we don't know the motives of the shooter at this point, but after he had fired off a number of rounds, he killed himself. That's what we know at this hour.
That's a weird story.
It is. It is weird, and obviously we're not going to get anything out of the shooter, but hopefully there'll be this is weird. I said hopefully. A lot of these shooters leave manifestos.
Yeah, it is.
They're wanting to make a point.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to get some message out. So if the shooter did not leave a manifesto, if he wasn't it was a he, I guess. If he wasn't trying to make a political or cultural point, if it was something personal, if not that, maybe on social media he gives some. There's some insight into why he did this.
An ICE official, Madison Sheehan, was interviewed this morning shortly after this incident, which, by the way, occurred around 6:30, 7 o'clock Central Time this morning. She addresses the growing concern within ICE about the anti-ICE rhetoric that is out there that is endangering the lives of ICE officers. Cut number 17.
Well, look, we've seen a lot of protests nationwide at ICE facilities. We've seen a lot of violence at ICE facilities. And this is not the first time that we've seen an attack, even this year, at an ICE facility. And so we will look at all motives, all areas of this. And as the rhetoric continues and the danger against our officers continues at an increase of over 1,000%, we know that a lot of this comes from the different motivations that we're seeing online over the last few weeks as rhetoric increase.
Yes, but what makes it weird here is that there weren't ICE officers or agents that were killed. That's what makes it a little bit odd.
That it was immigrants.
Immigrants, yeah. Now, then the question begs that what were they thinking that the detainees were officers? You know, like I don't know. Well, I mean,
we don't
so
know.
Wait and see.
Yeah. But this guy was on top of a building, shot 2 people.
3
people who were being brought into the ICE detention center.
That is what we know at this hour.
And then killed himself.
Yes.
Huh. Well, maybe they'll be able to shed more light on that.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting, this ICE official talking about the rhetoric out there. And and we have government officials. I mean, we saw what happened, was it last week? California, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law that says people cannot wear masks. In particular, ICE agents. You know, that was the target, from the left.
Unless they have COVID.
Unless they have COVID. But he passed a law saying that of course, I think the ICE officials are saying, we're going to ignore that. We're going to protect our officers.
The governor has no authority over ICE or any federal law enforcement. You can't tell them what their uniform it could be, has to be.
Yeah. What is it? So, okay, I know sometimes when we look at the political left in this country, we know what their motivations are. And then sometimes you look at and see what the positions and stances that they take, and you go, "Are you on whose side are you on?" Okay, so let me ask you a question. We may not have an answer for this, but so the ICE is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're a federal agency. They come under the Homeland Security Department, right?
Yes.
Department of Homeland Security, I think is what it is, DHS. Okay, so, and wasn't that created post 9/11? I don't think we had that agency prior to that.
It was, wasn't it INS or something? Immigration Naturalization Service. I think they just changed the name. I'm going to look that up.
Okay.
Though,
Well, anyway, okay, so they exist to physically arrest people and have them deported. That's their job, right?
Who've broken the law.
One of their jobs. Yeah, who've broken the law. They're here illegally. Go ahead.
Okay. So ICE was created as part of the Homeland Security Act of 2002 following September 11 attacks. It absorbed the prior functions of the Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS, and the United States Customs Service. So those two, a new department was created and absorbed these other two departments.
Okay, but ICE is basically responsible for deportations, right? Somebody's here illegally. ICE goes and detains them, and sends them back home. I mean, basically, or somewhere. If they're a criminal, I don't know what they do exactly, but I don't know what exactly the full process is, but. Okay, so here's my question, and I think I know the answer to it, but still I need somebody to help me with this. So the people that are protesting ICE, what they're doing right now, by the way, ICE is only responding to Joe Biden letting 15 million people into here illegally, many of them criminals. And so the problem was created.
That's right.
By Joe Biden and his open borders policy.
Right.
So my question is, the people that are reacting against ICE politically, like Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, saying they don't need to be allowed to wear masks while they do their jobs. Okay, do these people not want anything done at all? I mean, do they just want to dismantle ICE? Do they not want to have border immigration laws? Is this what they're getting at? Tell me, please.
Well, and I'll just jump in here, but Wesley and Fred can jump in. I think they believe in the open borders policy. They do not want ICE. ICE is following the orders of the current administration. So the executive,
what President Trump ran
on this. He orders ICE. They, get new people in there, and there are people who do not want these illegal immigrants removed.
Okay.
ICE is the bad guy.
Okay.
They're being treated like they're the Gestapo.
So if you can get, excuse me for interrupting. So the Democrat position, generally speaking, the Democrat Party is, if you can get into the country, get into the United States illegally. They wouldn't say it's illegal, but undocumented.
Because no person's illegal.
If you can get in here, you should be free of any kind of threat of deportation. You should be allowed to stay forever, and we'll help. We'll fund everything, give you free medical care.
And ICE,
that's their approach.
ICE's job at that point is to help make that happen. Once you're here, they make sure, as you would say, you get your subway coupon.
Right.
You get tied into the medical system. You get free education at colleges and universities. ICE helps make that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's not even an opinion.
Right.
You just have to look at what Joe Biden, his plan that he executed when he came in.
Do you think half of Americans just don't give a rip about borders at all?
No, I don't.
But I mean, that's a position of one of the major political parties in this country.
Yeah. So Newsom represents the radical left for the Democrat Party, and their position. I'm looking here. I'm trying to find if he's got a quote. He's been back and forth. his most recent one, as opposed to what I'm about to say, over the years, Newsom has been defund the police. So forget the border or set the border subject aside for a second. He's been so he didn't even like law and order within citizens, much less those coming across the border. So a combination of defunding the police has been their position and not caring about the border. Now, why that is, I mean, there's probably 5 reasons or more. I think they actually benefit from creating chaos, because when they create chaos, then they can be the solution to the chaos. Also, too, they don't have to live amongst. Most of these politicians don't have to live amongst the problem they've created either. We talked about judges before. So the judges that let the criminals out, they're also living behind gated communities. It's not their daughter that was killed on the subway. So that's
also new voters.
New voters.
Voters.
I forgot that's on the list of the top 5. Sure.
They wanted all these illegals to become Democrats and make the Republican Party a permanent minority. Mm-hmm. They let them all in. They get them free health care. They get them free food. They put them in New York City. They were kicking veterans out of hotels. Remember? And putting illegals in these hotels, and the government was paying the hotel top dollar. So the hotels were okay with it.
And so fundamentally, we've got other stories we got to move to. So fundamentally, the divide is between people who believe in border control and legal, lawful process of immigration versus people who don't believe in borders and believes everybody should be allowed to come.
And I even think within the Democrat Party, I do think there's a lot more. I think it is a lot more divided in the Democrat Party on the southern border issue. Now, people that are here that's been here for 10 years, that's been working, but the idea of shutting down the border, I do think there's more Democrats that agree with that than don't.
I agree with Wesley. I don't think it's 50-50. I think theoretically it might have been 50-50 in the year 2020, but when the genius governors of Florida and Texas and Louisiana, they started sending Arizona, they started sending the illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, and to New York City and to Chicago. That turned the tide, even in the Democratic Party, because a lot of these folks were saying, hey, listen, we got money to put these people up in hotels and give them free health care. How about me and my family?
Yeah.
And so I think you have a very hardcore, maybe 20%.
Yep, they're still going to vote Democrat.
And
that's true.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
I'm saying I think the National Democrat Party, Joe Biden led the way. Kamala Harris, I think they are for.
They are.
They are for open borders.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to say it exactly like that, but it's y'all.
I don't know. I think they do say it like that. They said we're welcoming a surge.
Yeah.
Let me just toss one other thing in on this.
Toss one other thing.
I just toss one thing
toss it in.
It's not my hat into the ring or anything like that.
We toss it.
Here's and I've been saying this since 2020, and I'm not alone. Okay. I just want you to understand here. This is not unique to me, but I've been reading a lot of things on social media about the government trying to break up threats from terrorists internally. I think that is coming. I think we're in for some successful terrorist attacks. And that, the cause of that is that wide open border.
Yep.
Where all these people, I'm talking about Chinese nationals, I'm talking about Muslim radicals, I'm talking about other people who, just even from Iran, Al-Qaeda, all these different places. When that kind of stuff starts to happen, everyone's going to be saying, how'd they get in here? And it's going to be Joe Biden, the mummy, the living mummy, all right, and his administration let all these people in, and we're all going to pay the price for it. And that is going to completely shut the door, so to speak, on open borders being a thing. The Democratic Party is going to have to run from that.
Okay, next story, Fred.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel came back on the air last night.
Great guy.
That guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Solid.
For just a quick review, he was taken off the air by ABC in the wake of comments that he made shortly after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, where he indicated that he believed perhaps it was a MAGA person who carried out the assassination.
No, it wasn't perhaps. It was.
Yes.
It was a MAGA person.
So he was taken off the air, but ABC decided to allow him to return to the air last night, although there are groups of affiliates run by two broadcasters, Nexstar and Sinclair. Those ABC affiliates did not run the show last night. But let's have a listen to a little bit of what Jimmy Kimmel had to say last night as he returned to the air. Cut number 1.
I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. True. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
Okay, that's some good stuff there. Okay, I appreciate some of the things he said there. He did. The reason he got in trouble, I don't know if he says it was never my intention. Did he say, I was kind of confused there. Did he say, he did say the correct thing. Well, he said this was a MAGA person who shot Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
And that the MAGA crowd, MAGA gang, he called them, was trying to make it look like it was something else other than, I about got his exact quote, than a MAGA kill, the person motivated by MAGA kill MAGA, right. A MAGA leader. Right? Isn't that what he said?
Yes, and yes. It would be a good time right here to emphasize that he said that following multiple days after the fact when we knew for certain that the assassin had LGBT far left. He had far left motives written on the bullets that he put in the gun. So we had multiple evidence showing that this guy was a left leaning person that shot, and he said it was a MAGA. We knew that so he lied. It was a shorter way of saying that he lied.
Yeah. So that's what he got in trouble for
lying.
That's with his own company. And so
because the exact quote was, "The MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it."
That's what he got in trouble with his own company for.
Yes,
and that's not what he apologized for.
Some are saying he didn't apologize last night. He just said they misread me.
The best part, he said some good things there, but anyway, we'll see what happens. But the big thing is, are majority of the ABC affiliates going to put him back on or not? Because
right now, no.
Right now, no. And so, all right, we'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred. A lot more to talk about. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here
is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Words are wonderful things. They help us in expressing our appreciation to God for all that He's done for us. They help us in expressing our love for other people. They help us in sharing with others wonderful truths which we have found in life. They even provide a medium by which we can share a moving story. I'd like to use some words to do that, to share a moving story. It's such a simple story. Perhaps that's the best kind of story, a simple one, because most of us can understand a simple story. One day a man was walking down the street. He ran into a boy who had 2 birds in a cage. The man asked the boy about the birds. "Where did you get those 2 beautiful birds?" The boy was quick to reply, "I set a trap and captured them." "What do you plan to do with the birds?" the man asked. "Well, I'm going to take them home and feed them to my cat," the boy replied. The man looked at the 2 lovely but helpless birds. He thought about the beautiful music the birds could bring if they were free. He thought about other birds who loved those 2 birds in the cage and how the other birds would miss their friendship. He thought about freedom and how much he himself loved freedom. "How much will you take for the cage and the birds?" the man asked the boy. "You must be kidding," the boy said. "What would anyone want with 2 worthless birds?" Again the man asked, "How much do you want for the cage and the birds?" The boy saw the determined look on the face of the man. "How much money do you have?" he asked the man. "Son, I only have $2, came the reply. There was a moment of silence, and then the boy replied, "I'll take $2 for the birds." The man reached down into his pocket, took out the $2. He gave them to the boy. The boy handed the man the cage and the 2 birds. As he walked away, he made this statement: "Stupid man to give his last $2 for a pair of worthless birds." The man turned and opened the cage. His heart sang with gladness as he let the birds go free. And everyone he met walking down the street wondered about the expression of joy and happiness on the man's face. They all wondered why he carried an empty bird cage. Now, what's the relation between the story and us? Simply this: we're like the birds in the cage. The devil baited his trap with the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. He had man in his grip, and his only desire was to destroy him. But God's heart was full of hurt because it was His desire that man should be free. So He asked the devil what he'd take for those who were caught in the cage of sin. The devil at first thought God was kidding. He could not understand why God would want a free, worthless man. The devil finally decided to make a joke and say to God that he would let man go, but only at the expense of God's Son. But to the surprise of the devil, God agreed to give His Son. This He did at Calvary. And now those who desire can walk out of the cage of sin and into the freedom of life eternal. Words are wonderful things, aren't they?
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
In Him we were also chosen, having been predestined according to the plan of Him who works out everything in conformity with the purpose of His will. Ephesians 1:11.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Back, everybody, to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred, thank you for listening to AFR. We have been talking about some big issues in the news the last few days, and at least and this morning. We led with this story. This morning in Dallas, there was a shooting at an ICE, that's Immigration Customs Enforcement Center. Is that what you call it? Anyway, somebody shot from the top of a building, just like they assassinated Charlie Kirk. And the FBI is reporting, according to CNN and Fox and even MSNBC, they're saying that the FBI is saying that the messages found, okay, first of all, 4 shot, 2 dead now at this ICE facility in Dallas. And FBI is saying the shooter left anti-ICE messages.
On the rounds. Which
just like Charlie Kirk's assassin.
Yeah. Yes. Now
Tyler
that's
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
well, and also just like the Catholic shooter.
Did they do the same thing?
Yeah, they wrote it. They wrote on the rounds.
On Minneapolis.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Nashville. Anyway, listen, it's a dangerous time to be in law enforcement, especially to be in working for ICE. Governor Newsom in California wants the ICE to have to take off their mask so that they can be doxxed and make them and their families more likely to be attacked. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say that that's why he wanted to do it. People who
that's the net effect in my.
That's the net effect. That's what everyone's concerned about. That's what ICE is concerned about. That's what Tom Homan was concerned about, and that if you prevent these ICE agents from covering up their faces, then the other side will learn their identity and where their family lives, and we are seeing an increase. It looks like an increased openness to using violence from people on the left to get their point across.
Yeah,
and you can't deny that when the people doing the shooting write their messages on the rounds.
That's right.
Or on the magazines that they're using.
Again, why would you be opposed to ICE? Why would you shoot somebody? What would be your reason?
Well,
what would be your most obvious reason?
Yeah, you would say. Now, this is just what I'm putting words in their mouths.
Right.
Okay, that they are the Gestapo working for a fascist president.
Okay.
And they are acting like fascists, and they're breaking up families and all this kind of stuff, and someone's got to do something to stop it, and that's me.
Okay.
I think that's what they're thinking.
So they're against deporting people.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I just want to. They would say to you, deportations are immoral.
It's a police state. That's what we're trying to stop.
So if you got here, like I said earlier, the Democrat Party's position is here. If you can get into the country, you can. There's going to be no threat of deportation. Shouldn't be, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Next story.
Well, just before the break, we were talking about the return of Jimmy Kimmel to the air to some ABC affiliates last night. Now, he did say something that is getting some attention. He had a lot of praise for Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, in what she had to say about forgiving the shooter in that case. Cut number 2.
Over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that.
Somebody's invaded Jimmy Kimmel's body. That is not Jimmy Kimmel that I've known. Now, I don't watch him. I just see clips like anybody else. I just see clips here and there. I don't watch his show. That was pretty moving.
Yeah.
Right there, and I commend him for that. But that is diametrically opposed to his style.
He didn't forgive anybody. He's constantly unforgiving. So
yeah, he's just relentless.
Well, I will say this. It's in the way our okay. So let me take us back to yesteryear. Okay, during the Vietnam War, I was a conservative, really big conservative. Defended the Vietnam War in class. I was growing up in New England, So there were a lot of lefties, okay? And I regularly called people names on the other side, okay?
You did?
Yeah, communists and,
Commies.
commie lover, pinko,
right?
All that kind of stuff. And people against the Vietnam War, remember when our GIs, Marines would come home, they'd call them, shout at them, baby killer, okay? Here's my point. When you have a polarized nation like we're polarized, you get that. You get this real harsh attitude towards one another. Jesus said it this way in Matthew 24. He was talking about the end times, but I think it applies to all sorts of cultural circumstances, that when lawlessness increases, most people's love grows cold. And I think with people like Jimmy Kimmel, I have to watch it on the air sometimes. Jimmy Kimmel gets in this lane where he is mocking the people he disagrees with, and it is harsh, and it is cold, and it is callous, and it's insulting. And what we saw, I don't think he was acting. He is an actor, but I think it seems genuine. The feelings that he is expressing these two clips, when you step out of that kind of conflict, that cultural combat, you find out that maybe he's doing a gig, or it's a shtick. You guys see what I'm saying?
I see what
part of it.
I see what you're saying, but he's got a lifetime that opposes what you just said. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is,
you're not going to forgive him, is what you're saying.
No, I'm going to remember exactly everything that he's done that's opposed to what he just said.
Right.
And from this point forward, we'll see. I think that's a good starting point, what you said, and I won't argue against it. But from this point forward, we'll see how genuine those comments were, because for the last couple of years, he's had 176 Democrats on his panel or on his show, and he's had one Republican. So,
he's partisan. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
he's on one side of the issue.
But there's no law against that, is there?
There's no law against. What I'm saying is, you
there
get in
is.
the mindset of these people are the commie pinkos. That's what I thought. Okay, now I still despise communism.
Sure.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, I think what you're talking about is he's been going downhill in this category, throwing rocks, and all of a sudden he's been touched by something. And
I think it's disingenuous. I don't think he means that.
Okay. Well,
that's just my opinion.
I don't think you can. It didn't sound fake to me.
Yeah.
Okay, but
he's an actor.
Okay.
He acts all the time.
All right.
And by the way, he got fired.
I'm disappointed that you don't believe in the basic goodness of humanity.
Not of Jimmy Kimmel, I do not.
All right,
okay,
so I'm the lefty on the show today.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see where that goes.
I told y'all how this program was going to go today, and y'all let me on. Y'all gave me the mic. So
hey, I love you, man.
I think I've been around the block a few times. That sounded genuine to me.
Okay.
What he was talking about. Now, it could have been he went in the office with his bosses, and they said, "You want a paycheck?
Right.
Then you need to go take your fanny out there and apologize to America for making such insensitive remarks."
I need to end with this.
Are you? Okay,
I need to end with this.
Mic dropping?
I'm mic dropping.
Okay.
I do hope, as a Christian, that is sincere. And I hope that we see fruits from that.
I didn't know that he was a follower of Jesus.
He said he believes in the teachings of Jesus. Like he said, if you believe in the teachings of Jesus like I do, maybe this will be a moment for him of some self-reflection. I hope
Next
so.
topic.
Well, President Trump could use some
Absolutely.
too.
I'd be more than happy to talk about that.
I hope and I wish President Trump would, would find some way
humility. Help you out.
Yeah, because as much as I love President Trump's policy, sometimes I don't think the things he says and does don't help the situation. Okay, and I understand why he has to be the tough guy, right? Not take
impeached 3
times.
Not
take anything off anybody, and I'm the guy. I'm the man. I understand that persona and everything like that, but I think maybe he could do something to sort of amp things down a little bit.
This is the way I look at it. The Bible says that God is not willing for any to perish, but for all to come to repentance. Whether he is or not, I want Jimmy Kimmel to be in heaven.
Amen to that.
And whether he is or not,
That's
I want Donald Trump to be in heaven.
Right.
And there is room for that message. I think Charlie Kirk did this perfectly in terms of preaching the gospel and offering people hope and sticking to his guns when it came to his political and cultural beliefs. And I think that's why he struck a chord, and his assassination has moved people to consider the fact that you can be both.
Fred, I think three of us need to recognize Fred has a purpose in life.
He does.
And it's not just to be a potted plant.
It's not just to be another pretty face.
No, not a pretty. No, okay, that's going too far. But anyway, next story, Fred. And Fred, if you want to take the story and comment it on your own, you go ahead, because I think
we haven't given him much chance.
No, go ahead, Fred.
All right. Well, I had a vacation for a week, so I'm all pent up.
Okay.
All right. In somewhat related to what we've just been discussing, in the wake of ABC's decision to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air, there were some people, government and non-government people, who said, "Yay, ABC. People who make comments like that should be taken off the air. In fact, the government needs to step in when there are comments made like that, associating MAGA with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that should be evidence that the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, should take that show off the air." Well, so I heard all of that in the last week or so, but then I got a press release yesterday from the National Religious Broadcasters, which represents Christian broadcasting across the country. I want you to read the headlines. The headline of this press release from the NRB: NRB champions free speech, encourages FCC to safeguard diverse media voices. Now, this is some of what they had to say. Troy Miller is the NRB president and CEO. This is what he said: "The strength of our democratic republic lies in its openness to diverse voices in the public square, and the government is responsible for allowing space for civil disagreement. When one voice is suppressed, all voices are at risk. If viewpoint-based suppression can be directed at mainstream broadcasters today, it could be directed at faith-based broadcasters tomorrow." I think what he's concerned about, if the FCC was to take the kind of action that is being proposed by some, then it could be used against Christian broadcasters should there be a Democrat government coming along a few years down the road who might not like what they hear on Christian radio stations.
And the chairman, Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC,
yes,
he did make a public statement warning ABC
yes,
about doing something with Jimmy Kimmel after he made the initial comment, which was very insensitive. It was wrong. It was a lie. It was not true, about the shooter, Charlie Kirk's murderer, being a MAGA person and the MAGA people trying to make believe that this wasn't one of their own, and to score political points. That was a terrible thing to say. We've talked about his apologies, whether they're real or genuine, that kind of thing. But then Brendan Carr said to ABC, publicly said this: "We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way." And to the best of your knowledge, Fred, you're saying NRB responded with this press release worried about what Brendan Carr said.
Yes, worried that it could be used against Christian broadcasters, because if you have an FCC chairman with a different point of view,
right,
who might say, "Hey,
right.
Christian radio station, we don't like what you're saying about transsexuals,
yeah,
homosexuals."
Now, we had Brendan Carr on.
Yes, we did.
Brendan, is it Brendan?
Brendan. I think
Brendan
it's Brendan.
Carr on the FCC chairman a couple, 6 or 8 weeks ago or something like that on there. So, and I don't know, let's just say the federal government, the FCC in particular, should not be threatening to grant licenses or revoke licenses for radio and television stations based on political viewpoint or comments
or lying
or speech.
Seriously.
Jimmy Kimmel should not be threatened because he said this was a MAGA killer.
Even though that was knowingly a lie, he still should be able to say it.
I think his accountability is held with his bosses.
100%.
Not with...
And viewers.
And viewers. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think that's totally irresponsible.
Yeah.
What he did, and he should... I'm glad Disney ABC responded and put him on a hiatus, and these ABC affiliates reacted. That was the... but if you start... and I don't think Brandon Carr would do that in the end. I don't think he would do something like that. Now, see, President Trump, I said the other day, you had a rope line the other day at the White House, and what's the former ABC reporter named Carl? That's his last name. Look it up.
Yeah, is that not Jonathan Karl?
It's Karl, isn't it?
Yeah, Jonathan Karl, I think.
Does he still work for ABC?
I'm not sure.
Does everybody know who I'm talking about here?
Yeah. Yes.
If he's not a podcaster, Wesley doesn't know who you're talking about. Jonathan Karl is his
ABC
name.
News chief, Washington correspondent. That was back in 2008.
I don't know if he still is or not.
You guys are both looking over my shoulders. You're making me nervous. Okay, ABC's Jonathan Karl. This is an article from the Huff Post. Now I got an ad.
Yep.
Okay. ABC's Jonathan Karl pushes back on MAGA outrage over his Charlie Kirk segment. And then President Trump, it says, drew a face-to-face attack. This was at the rope line, wasn't it? When he said,
"Yeah, go ahead. Tell folks what happened there." This was last week. I'm making a point here. Go ahead.
Okay. In the video that his ABC segment, Jonathan Karl said, later today, family, friends, and supporters of Charlie Kirk will gather in Glendale, Arizona for his memorial. The 31-year-old activist's murder shocked the nation, and it was condemned by sensible and compassionate people in and out of politics and across the political spectrum.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, this is a long. Well, this is a long segment. I'm not sure which.
Okay, I'll tell people what happened.
Okay.
This was a confrontation at the White House. You know how they have a rope line, is what they call it? And the reporters are standing there, and they're all asking questions of the president, and you hear Marine One's helicopter blades in the background, and the president, whoever he may be, is getting ready to go somewhere. But he's going to take a couple questions. Or Biden quit doing that because he couldn't take questions any longer. We all know that, right?
Right.
But Trump is the king of this. He's always done give and take, right? With the
media,
with the media and with the press. Well, this, what's his first name?
Talking about Jonathan Karl.
Jonathan Karl guy, who's again has a history with President Trump, says something to him, and Trump asked Trump something, and President Trump responds back to Jonathan Karl, and I may come after you too.
He said, maybe they'll have to go after you. That's his exact words.
What did he say to him?
He said, maybe they'll have to go after you.
Okay. So you want to know why Trump gets a reputation as authoritarian and a dictator and saying stuff like that. You should not say stuff like that. Because that's what they do in communist countries, dictatorship.
Yeah, the conversation was Jonathan Karl was asking about Attorney General Pam Bondi, who. Okay, we've got that clip. All right, go ahead.
To go after hate speech, is that? I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
should probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech, so maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country, but we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C.
All right. Anyway, I'm just saying the president should not be saying that because that's scary. What if Biden said to Fox News, we may be coming after you?
Okay, I agree with you up to that point. But at that point, you got to understand they had 4 years and they did all that.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
No, they did not. They did not threaten you to take your license.
Okay, not from an FCC they didn't, but they threatened to fire you if you didn't get the COVID vaccine, and they did that. From a government official,
I agree with
fired.
that. I agree with that.
And that's a freedom that was removed. The government, when Biden was in office, forced government officials to violate the Constitution multiple times. They already did it. So it does. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So let's just suppose. I'm just saying this is a very serious issue. Okay. This isn't trivial. The First Amendment to the Constitution is what separates us basically from the rest of the world. Okay.
Right.
Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to gather, freedom for us to sit here and talk and discuss. And we're going to be talking about another story where freedom wasn't allowed with YouTube, but now it's being, quote, reinstated. So I want to talk about that, but we're running out of time this hour. But I'm just saying this is not shouldn't be a Republican or Democrat thing.
Right.
Shouldn't be a liberal conservative thing. We should all agree that the government should not be threatening to censor people based on their political views or their religious views or whatever the case may be. So I know it sounded to me like as the further President Trump got into that comment, he was just jabbing at this guy and jesting.
Yes.
So that I feel a little bit better about it
after hearing it. Yeah.
But he's and he has a history again with the fake news media. But above the fray is a serious issue that our founders fought for.
Yeah, well, Pam Bondi got it wrong.
Yeah, on that.
Yes,
yeah.
I think so. And let's remember, when Joe Biden was in office, he nominated Gigi Sohn, if you remember.
I remember Gigi.
To fill a vacant seat on the Federal Communications Commission, on the FCC. She had said prior that Fox News, she referred to it as state-sponsored propaganda.
Yep.
And so the reason why she was resisted by Republicans when she was in her hearings was because it sounded like the FCC might go after Fox News for its propaganda. And we were up in arms. We sent out an action alert. And so I think we can all agree that, first of all, the government under Joe Biden went past its constitutional authority with COVID.
We didn't like it.
But we didn't like it.
Right.
And it's wrong. And the Trump administration also needs to be careful. I'm talking about Brendan Carr's comments, President Trump's comments, Pam Bondi's comments. We need to be careful that we are obeying the Constitution as well. But I think, to Wesley's point, there ought to be heads that should roll over the COVID fiasco and the fact that Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook has said the government pressured us to bounce people off Facebook.
Disappointed in you, Ed. We're trying to temper things down. You go with the, quote, heads will roll.
Well,
I don't know why you couldn't find another metaphor out of the million in the universe.
I just need to take some ivermectin, and I will be better.
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
As a federal or state employee, you have the opportunity to support the American Family Association through the combined federal campaign by designating a monthly payroll deduction using 12037. You help AFA continue to fight for your family. So when you complete your CFC form, remember, AFA's number is 12037. And thank you for your help.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. 2 people were shot and killed at an ICE facility in Dallas this morning. The shooter then took his own life. Here's Dallas Police Chief Daniel Como.
Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a assist the officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter who was deceased.
Joe Rothrock is the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
Jimmy Kimmel was back on the air last night addressing the comments he made about the Charlie Kirk assassination that got him taken off the air.
It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow.
But for some, that's not enough. Here's what Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Calvert would like to see.
Well, an apology, for one. When somebody like Jimmy Kimmel says that the shooter of Charlie was MAGA, what he's really saying is that it's okay to lie about conservatives, that their lives don't matter, that his agenda, his political agenda and cultural agenda is more important than the life of my friend who was just taken from us and robbed from us. And when people like Jimmy Kimmel skirt the truth, when they refuse to take accountability for their actions, then that sends a signal that there's a whole institutional machinery, apparatus that's prepared to defend these evildoers. And that's not okay. What we need is, I'm sorry, I lied, I was wrong.
The Florida Commissioner of Education is getting some pushback. Chris Woodward tells us why.
Commissioner Anastasios Kamoutsas recently announced charges brought against a Florida teacher for comments regarding Charlie Kirk.
Our Office of Professional Practices Services investigated a teacher specifically in Clay County who made callous and unconscionable comments on social media celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Specifically, she said, "This may not be the obituary we were all hoping to wake up to, but this is a close second for me." And attached to that post was an article explaining that Charlie Kirk was assassinated at a school. As a result, we will be seeking the revocation of this educator's license. Holding educators accountable for speech that celebrates violence in schools is not a violation of free speech. It is a necessary step to uphold the standards of the teaching profession and the safety of our schools.
Talking about this on American Family Radio, Kamoutsas said people were upset with the announcement. He mentioned the teachers union in particular, along with what he described as far-left extremists who want to support an environment where somehow the celebration of violence in schools is the new norm.
I am shocked that we live in a day and age where people think it's okay to ever, I don't care who the individual is, to celebrate a school shooting.
I'm Chris Woodward.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris reflecting on her loss in the presidential election during a recent interview on ABC's The View.
We just didn't have enough time.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, however, says Harris lost because the American people didn't support her platform.
They rejected her and her ideas. She brought nothing forward for the American people to say, you know what, that's exactly what I want to see in the White House. They'd experienced it. They didn't want it. They did want President Trump, and it's why he had a historic comeback victory to regain the White House.
More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hello, I'm Steve Crampton, Assistant General Counsel for the American Family Association. The mission of AFA is to inform, equip, and activate individuals to strengthen the moral foundations of American culture and give aid to the church here and abroad in its task of fulfilling the Great Commission. Our vision is to be a leading organization in biblical worldview training in the interest of cultural transformation.
Thank you for standing with the American Family Association.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues, the name of this show. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and now Chris Woodward joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. I just was reminded why I was in the band and not on the basketball team, because I tried to make a shot in the can over here and missed.
Yeah, that's only like 3 feet. That's a pretty big can.
You could just about do a tomahawk jam.
Yeah. So you missed that shot?
Not with my little T-Rex arms.
Wow. Yeah.
T-Rex.
You're too hard on yourself, Chris.
You are.
You really
You're
are.
way too hard on yourself.
But now that's all I'm gonna see from now on.
5'6". Did you say 5'6.5"?
I'm 5'6" with shoes on.
Okay.
But he has.
I've had a great impact.
I got a lot of heart, though.
As hard as he is on himself, he is wearing purple.
Yeah.
He got some confidence.
You may only be 5'6", but you have the heart of someone who's 5'8".
Yes.
You do, Chris. I was going to say the same thing.
You shouldn't have brought this up. You shouldn't have brought this up.
You always learn in life, though, there's always somebody taller than you.
And always somebody shorter than you,
you're a minute bowl.
How you look at it.
Huh? Unless you're a minute bowl.
Minute bowl.
5'6".
Remember Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah.
He was
right down in that street.
He was one of my
Was
people.
he on the Rockets? Who played for?
He had rocket legs.
I think he was in the dunk competition back in the day. Now that I think about it,
he was quite a player.
He couldn't outdo 5'4" Spud Webb, though.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Spud Webb could go, huh? You remember Spud Webb?
Yeah,
Spud Webb could
You're
dunk.
starting to leave me behind.
I think he's 5'6". I think Spud Webb was a full 5'6".
4 or 5.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Look up Spud.
I'm gonna do it.
Look up Spud Webb on the internet, on that there internet, and see if I'm not if you don't
Spud
remember.
Webb height.
See what,
all right, let's see
how tall he
it
was.
up. It's 5'7".
Right. He's 5'7", and Manute Bowl was 7'7", I think.
Yeah.
7'6", right? Because we got a picture of them both over here.
Yeah.
It's like really it was a modern-day Mutt and Jeff.
Yes.
That's what it was there, right there.
They weren't on the same team, though, were they?
All right, listen, I think we're getting a little distracted here.
Well,
I need to be distracted today as much as possible.
You're pretty wound up.
I'm pretty wound up.
I did when I was, in high school thinking about what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I still have growing up to do. But when I was in high school, I wanted to go into sports. That was what I was going to do with broadcasting. So this was my way to have a sports
I thought you was going to say with your life. So I was going to say, which sport did you?
Muggsy Bogues was only 5'3".
Dad, you just can't help yourself. Y'all leave us alone.
That's what I meant. Not Spud Webb, but Muggsy Bogues.
5'3".
He's in the NBA.
Good for him.
Is that not a motivating story? I don't know what is.
That's I feel motivated.
You can do anything you said. No, you can't. Really.
That's the next AFS project. Short people can do stuff too.
I just feel bad. I know we're kind of going on here. I'll just say this one thing because this is important. Parents who tell their kids you can do anything and you can be anything you want, that is not true.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some,
and the kids find out that,
and the kids
like they find out about Santa Claus.
It's a bitter. Well, you need to be careful here.
Easy.
We're on the public airwaves.
I should have said that. Okay.
No, you shouldn't have.
Well, we are doing school hours, so you do get a pass there. Unless
you're talking about
homeschool.
Santa Claus
don't believe in
based
Santa
on
Claus anyway.
Based on
I don't think.
St. Nicholas. Okay. I've already warned you one time.
That's true.
Chris, all right.
Going.
Yes.
Let's reset this show on a more somber note and serious note. Do you know anything more about the Dallas shooting at the Ice Center yet, Chris?
No,
other
nothing
than what
beyond.
we said?
Nothing beyond what you reported.
Okay, in case you haven't heard, folks, in Dallas this morning, about 3 hours ago, there was a shooting. 3 or 4 hours ago, there was a guy, I'm assuming it was a guy, from top of a building near an ICE center, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. They were shot. Shots rang out. 2 people are dead, 4 people injured. And according to the FBI, that the person who shot himself.
There's the image right there. I know that our listening audience can't see it, but there's bullets right here, the image, and their FBI's reporting that the bullets that were found had anti-ICE messaging on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we're looking at the images right now.
Yeah,
it looks like they used a Sharpie on.
Let me ask you this: okay, now hear me out before you just
go
blast me.
I'm not gonna blast you.
We're not gonna blast.
And you might blast me if I'm in the water, out of the water.
Okay.
I don't even want to be in the water because you might blast me out of the water.
Blast out of the water. All right.
Could the people that were shot were the immigrants? Were the ones who were being deported? True.
Detainees is how they've been identified or labeled.
So the shooter either what if he wrote this on there, but he's really the other way,
covering it up. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
You need evidence for that.
Anti-ICE messages on the rounds. And
why would an anti-ICE guy kill illegal immigrants?
By accident.
Yes, maybe he just not a good. This sounds terrible. Maybe he just opened fire,
trying to hit ICE agents.
And
missed.
We actually had this conversation in the newsroom right before I came in.
Yeah, right now,
that makes it weird. That makes sense.
We need more information, but that's the FBI is saying there were anti-ICE messages on the bullets, and they showed a picture of it where the killer was found. He had shot himself, evidently.
I'm going to be honest. Now you know more about rifles than I do, Wesley. That looks like a clip. Yes, I said clip for an M1 Garand from World War II.
It does.
It's not a magazine. It is. It looks like a clip with 5 rounds. That if you've watched Saving Private Ryan, that's the weapon they use when they feed it in the top.
Really? Why would you use something like that?
I don't know if that's the weapon the person had.
That's unusual. That is not.
Do you know any other kind of rifle that uses a clip like that?
No, that's very unusual.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. All right, there's a big story that broke yesterday. We haven't even had a chance to get to.
How big?
Well, it was. You know,
I got you on that one.
Yeah,
you were about to answer like
that's what I do.
Yes, it is,
and that's really left up
your hand
to
at
me
the baton.
to do that. Okay, like father, like son. Don't be a smarty.
You're welcome.
Don't be a smarty to
It's
people.
for the audience.
It'll come back.
It will come.
It will come back to you. What goes around keeps going around. That's what I was always taught. Huh? Am I right, Ed?
Wesley, don't be a smarty.
Don't be a fool with your life. All right, tell us about the YouTube story.
Yes, YouTube says it will soon let creators back on the platform who were previously banned over now retired content policies, including those prohibiting what YouTube used to call misinformation about things like the 2020 U.S. election results and COVID-19 policies. A lawyer for Alphabet in disclosing the move.
What's Alphabet?
Alphabet is the company that owns Google and YouTube.
Is that what they're called?
It's a parent company of Google and YouTube.
Okay.
A lawyer for Alphabet in disclosing the move said the Biden administration had pressured the internet company to crack down on YouTube content that government officials at the time deemed as misinformation about things such as COVID.
Okay, so Brent Creeley, our producer, rarely heard here, but a man of profound thought and
great power.
Yes.
Because he can make any of us sound like Donald Duck.
His intellect is somewhere between average and slightly above average, which that's a compliment. Anytime your intellect
if you say so.
Can be slightly above average, is that not a compliment?
It is, and it's funny how he's looking at me as he's saying that because
Brent,
I'm all in the same camp.
I wanted to compliment you on that. You heard this story yesterday. Last night we sent it around. YouTube says now they're going to welcome back people they banned. Why did they ban? They banned us multiple times back in the day. What did they ban us for?
They banned us for what they called violating community standards.
Now, we know the community standards was ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine that Ed would always say and get us banned.
Right. I didn't say it. Ed said it, but it's okay. He had his conviction.
And I will always say it. I will always stand for ivermectin.
So they banned us. I mean, YouTube wrote us and said, we're taking you off the air.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And a lot of people watch us on YouTube, but said, we're taking you off the air because you're giving misinformation out. Well, they didn't say that. They said you're violating community standards.
Right.
So we can never argue back with them because
they never would narrow down exactly what it was that we said.
Right.
So
we knew.
Right.
Looking at Ed, we knew what happened right there. Ed's giving medical advice.
I don't back down when it comes to hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. I will never back down.
You know, can you spell hydrochloroquine?
Have you always been that way?
That word.
Is that you or am I rubbing off on you on the never back down?
Oh, listen,
Ed's a Tom Petty fan.
But now we were now have we still been banned since then on YouTube?
Okay, so they ended up shutting that channel down.
So be quiet right here.
Okay.
We did an end run.
And I think the 2020 election was stolen, but go ahead.
No. Get us banned again.
Well played.
Anyway, so we're back on the air.
We are, but we went around and started a different YouTube channel.
We turned a new leaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I probably shouldn't have said that.
It was like the old leaf, but
Ed.
the new leaf looked different.
It's exactly the same, but different.
All right. So anyway, YouTube's letting everybody back on. Dan Bongino's back, or at least not. He was one of the ones banned. A lot of conservatives were banned because questioning of what the government was telling us about COVID caused, and this is where, back to your point earlier, Wesley, this is what Biden and the Democrats did.
Yeah.
They insisted that the social media companies in particular ban anybody who disagreed with the CDC,
correct,
or Dr. Fauci, or the White House line on.
That's right.
On COVID.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think back.
From the White House down, they did that. And they did so because Zuckerberg, Ed reminded us of this in the last segment, but Zuckerberg has now officially admitted.
Yeah.
We covered this on today's issues the week of, but he officially admitted.
He said Biden administration weighed on him. I mean, they like
pressured them.
And by the way, now so this is a kind of it's a complex issue, okay?
Which we can do here.
Well, we can handle this. Our IQs
combined
are all above
here.
average, just like Brent, okay?
We're at 120%.
All right, so here's 3 things that are critical to understanding this issue, folks. Ready?
Yeah.
3 things.
Well, I'm going to write them down. Go ahead.
First,
Number 1.
A company has a First Amendment right to, I'm speaking generally, to allow people, for example, YouTube, Facebook, to allow people to speak or not allow people to speak, okay? It's a company. That's number 1. Number 2, if the government behind the scenes pressures them to take away people's First Amendment rights, that still counts as a violation of the First Amendment because the government is simply using YouTube to do its bidding to squelch people's free speech. And the third thing I will say that makes this complicated is some of these companies, including Google, okay, Facebook maybe to a lesser extent, but certainly Google, some of these companies are so big you can't exist in our culture without access to them, so they become more like platforms that allow free speech than just than a simple private business. So we've talked about credit card companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Credit card companies have the right to say, well, if you make guns, we're not going to let you have one of our credit cards. Okay. Technically, that is your right, but you can't. When things become so big, and there's only 3 or 4 credit card companies out there, you are essentially ending the possibility of someone participating in the culture. You can't have like the carriers for phones say we're a company. we're not letting you use the airwaves for the you can't use the internet. All right, you are keeping people from accessing normal life, and so it becomes kind of complicated.
You're opening up new doors here. Our old doors. Remember the
old wounds.
What Ed's done his whole life.
That's right. Opened up new doors, old doors.
For meeting people.
And when you were saying that reminds me, even for we talk about conflating things. You got government versus private. Private,
right.
Here was the problem with the social media, and I can make a case
during COVID. What we're talking about here?
Yes, during COVID, I can make a case that even they were violating the law because they were getting funds as if they were a platform versus a
publisher.
Right. Do you remember this argument?
Yeah.
And so they were. If you're a publisher, you can correct things, you can change things, you can edit things, you can
refuse to publish
things. But when you're a platform, they were getting federal money for being a platform. Dad, I need some MAGA here.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Well, it's just like locally, there is a company that you get your electricity from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes these are tied to the local city government, but sometimes they're private.
Utilities.
Mm-hmm. You can't say, well, we don't like American Family Association, so no energy for you.
Right.
Okay. At some point, these companies become large enough that you have to access them or you can't participate in society.
But the point is here that the federal government and the President of the United States, his administration, Joe Biden, was pressuring the social media giants, YouTube, Facebook, and others, to do censoring on their behalf over COVID. I don't remember much about the election results, I don't remember much.
Basically, talking about how Biden might have
that too got you banned. And
pretty
everything.
much.
So anyway,
any speculation.
And by the way, this is also why Elon Musk got so much hatred when he bought Twitter, because now the left couldn't control Twitter either.
That's right.
Okay, and that made them
That's
crazy.
True.
Yeah, he
That's
believed
true.
in free speech.
Next story, Chris.
Well, since the passing of Charlie Kirk, a number of legislators, federal, state, and local, as well as bureaucrats, have talked about efforts to try to honor the slain Christian and conservative activist. For example, on her radio program this morning, our Jenna Ellis discussed efforts in a county in Florida to rename a portion of a road or highway after Charlie Kirk, and it looks like they are going in that direction. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma, Education Secretary Ryan Walters wants to put TPUSA chapters in Oklahoma schools. Clip 15.
I'm excited to announce today that every Oklahoma high school will have a Turning Point USA chapter. We have seen the outpouring from parents, teachers, and students that want to be engaged in the meaningful work going on at Turning Point. They want their young people to be engaged in a process that understands free speech, open engagement, dialogue about American greatness, a dialogue around American values. We're so excited to partner with Turning Point USA with this initiative. For far too long, we have seen radical leftists with the teachers union dominate classrooms and push woke indoctrination on our kids. They fight parents' rights, they push parents out of the classroom, and they lie to our kids about American history. What we're going to continue to do is make sure that our kids understand American greatness, engage in civic dialogue, and have that open discussion. We will continue to do all that we can to make sure Oklahoma students have the best education possible.
That was who?
That was Education Secretary Ryan Walters of Oklahoma.
Yes, he's been here with us.
Yeah.
I tell you what's interesting is I see more and more students now who are willing. I'm not so sure in like high school, but certainly in college campuses, but maybe in high school too, high school classrooms, who are willing to use their phones to catch their instructors saying bad things about the country and promoting their own particular, cultural, political beliefs. And so these instructors are having to answer for it. And I'm glad that some of them are being exposed.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even in recent years that professors have gone woke or said crazy things in class. I remember 20 years ago when I was in college, I was in a mass media law class to where we were supposed to be going over things, laws and regulations involving what you can say in print and in broadcast. And I remember someday, for just some random reason, our professor decided to take time out of mass media law class to share her 2 cents on why the Supreme Court should never overturn Roe v. Wade. So that was 20 years ago. And I'm sure there was a lot of gobbledygook and nonsense from like the Berkeley professors back in the day and stuff like that.
But you could never prove it.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't have back 20 years ago. We didn't have the smartphones like they do today. But to your point, there's a number of organizations now, like Young America's Foundation, Campus Reform. They have tip lines where they ask students to record and send these things in. Parents Defending Education also has something similar, and it's because of those efforts that we've actually had the stories and these sound bites from people on these kinds of crazy things over the past couple of years on the show, which is now on YouTube. So, yeah.
Next story, Chris.
All right. There is some research out there that finds a lot more men in America, particularly 30 and under.
What did you say?
Men in America, particularly.
Oh, that was a good.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled over it. But anyway.
It's okay.
Men under the age of 30 are putting off marriage. And one of the reasons might be the fact that they can't find people that agree with them or align with them ideologically. For example, Fox had this story today. Men are becoming more conservative, whereas women, according to some researchers, are becoming more liberal. And one lady weighing in on that is a conservative lady by the name of Kaylee McGee-White at Independent Women's Forum, clip 16.
Part of the problem is there's a massive ideological rift right now between young men and young women. And this bears out in the data. Young men have been leaning more conservative for the past several years, while young women are becoming more and more liberal. And this is reflected in the things that they value. There was a recent NBC survey that found that family and marriage were top priorities for young men, and they were dead last for young women. So until we start to bridge this gender gap, I fear that the dating scene is going to remain very difficult for Gen Zers.
How that's sad. Now, I've been seeing stuff on social media that kind of indicate that, but I thought it was anecdotal. She's saying the data is starting to prove this. Young men want to get married and have families, but that is dead last for a lot of young women. And I have been hearing about this political divide, too, between young men and young women, and they are worlds apart. This is sad for the prospects of, if you're trying to, young men, if you're out there and you're trying to find a fine young woman to marry, go to church, go to a Bible believing church, and find someone there with
hit on girls.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying
at church,
get involved,
and you're going
worship
the Lord.
You're going to.
Good grief.
Okay. Well, some people can do more than one thing at the same time. Yeah. I met my wife at a Bible college, Tim.
I think what
I feel
he's
like
saying
God.
is the odds are, if you go to church,
thank you, Wesley,
you're most likely to find someone who also believes in what the church is teaching.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. And there has been a big uptick in interest in going to church and reading the Bible.
And you can see that.
I'm glad y'all clarified that because that sounded bad. It said, "Hey, if you want to find a girl, man, go to church. Don't go to the bar. Go to church and you can hit on the girls there."
I didn't say hit on. Gentlemen,
all right, that was a crude way of saying, stick them out. Find you a woman at the Sunday school class.
Okay, let's play that. Okay, we'll do it the other way. Dad says to go to the bar.
Yes,
I did not. I did not say go to the bar.
Okay.
Yes.
But I just heard that.
No, listen.
I know.
I know Ed's heart.
I bet you don't know what's in it right now.
It's 60% good.
That's funny.
I just had cataract surgery. I'm not supposed to be laughing this much.
Okay.
It's going to pop out.
Anyway, where were we?
I don't know. You're not getting any help
from
me.
We're at the end of the program.
Oh, yeah.
You're adrift on a stormy ocean, and I'm watching you flail about. Go ahead.
We're out of time, and That's probably a good thing.
Okay.
And we hope that you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.